Hey there, everybody in the FFBE Global Facebook group, and hello to everybody who sees this video on YouTube as well. Welcome to another episode of Ask an Old Mog, where you ask the questions and I try to answer them in a visual way, or at least provide some information about like mechanics and things like that. It has been Actually, it's been about 2 months since my last video for this series, and part of that has been because there just hasn't been a whole lot of really new like mechanics or new things that have come out in the game that I thought were really worth talking about. Haven't really even seen a whole lot of questions, which is probably good because you guys were probably like, you know, learning and picking up on the stuff in the game and like kind of taking care of yourselves. I also see a lot of people using the chat really productively, and so that's really good. However, today I got a direct question that I wanted to try and address, and this video is getting us back in the swing of things, and so very cool. Thank you for the question, and we'll talk about that in just a second. But seriously, I would like to get back to doing more of these videos. I really enjoy this style of thing, like the question and answer kind of thing. So if you've got a question you want to see in a future video, please feel free to ask me directly in the FFBE Global chat, or in a YouTube comment, or something like that. Feel free to drop a question. I will definitely take the time to answer them as best I can. You know, sometimes even more than one question in a video. They're not always just one topic, but let's go ahead and dive right in, and we will take a look and see what our new question is. So our question was kind of like this. Hey bro, help me out. Which vision card should I equip with my True King Noctis? I'm free to play. I might not get to EX3 him. And I think that that is a very real problem, or a very real situation for a lot of players. You know, being a free-to-play player really limits your options. That said, obviously his own vision card, which is awarded at EX3, or another premium units card that matches his categories, are going to be good for him. But depending on what units you have or what banners with vision cards you may have pulled on, your options may be really limited. Wow, it's been such a long time since I've done these videos that my like punctuation is terrible. Hold on, I have to fix this. Sorry, that was just gonna drive me nuts if I sat there and looked at it and didn't address it. No, cool. Let's take a look at Noctis. I actually don't have Noctis, so let's take a look and see what his categories are. That way we can kind of get an idea of what we're looking at here. I'm gonna click on the summon pane, and we're gonna scroll down to his banner. And here he is, and we're gonna just go into his maximum stats here. Oh, hello. Go into his maximum stats. Okay. If we go into his category right here, we can see that he has category Light, Attacker, Final Fantasy 15, Blessing of the Crystals, Royal Arms, Clash of Wills, and Clash of Wills Light. So any cards that are gonna be specifically good for those categories are honestly gonna be where you wanna go. This is of course assuming that you don't have EX3 Noctis. You know, what are some cards that are gonna be good based on these categories? If you happen to have pulled for the Squall banner, or have been lucky enough to get a Neovision Squall, his vision card that you get at EX3 is called Squall versus Cypher. It is the good vision card for light units, so light category units. I actually don't happen to have this one, so if I was trying to gear my True King Noctis that I don't have, and I happen to have that Squall card, that would be a good option because, you know, Noctis is on the light category. Another one, if you're looking for a decent vision card, is the Clash of Wills card, which is the Turning Point card from Richt. A lot of players do have an EX3 Richt, and that Turning Point vision card is really, really solid. So I can actually show it to you here. I do happen to have it. Bear with me here while I get to my home screen and my items and my vision card, and I do happen to have this one. I can demonstrate it for you. Here we are. So this vision card is 170 attack and magic, with 80% attack and magic for Clash of Wills category units only. Also with 100% LB damage for Clash of Wills category units, and 650 passive stats, or bonus stats. So like these are really, really good for any units who happen to have that Clash of Wills category. Very, very good card. But let's say you don't happen to have, you know, units that came out in the last year, so like Squall or Richt, and you're looking for something that still works, that could be kind of good. So he also had the attacker category. So we're going to go to Knights of Grandshell's card, Birth of a Champion. There we go. Here we have it right here. Birth of a Champion. It's 130 attack, so not as good as the Squall card or the Clash of Wills card. This is a pretty old Vision card, but so is Knights of Grandshell. Knights of Grandshell, where you get this card, is an old unit. Most players, you know, if you kind of pull regularly, probably have picked one of these up. If not, you know, hopefully enough, but to have an EX3 by this point. But it gives you 80% attack, right, on top of 130 attack, 100% LB damage, right? You have to be an attacker unit to get that. And also gives you 500 fixed stats. So pretty decent alternative if you don't have the new premium cards. But there are some additional options that are also good if you happen to have a just a kind of a nice pool of units. And these are cards that are kind of good for everybody. So just kind of general cards. There's one called Not Until the End Always. All right, Not Until the End. Here we go. You get this from New Guardian Titus. It's 150 attack, has 50% LB damage, has 300 bonus stats, and then also has 100% chain limit increase. So this is a really good card for units that don't have any chain limit increase in their kit, or if you happen to have like not a lot of Magister's gear from Clash of Wills or Indestructible Lights or things like that. This is a really good Vision card for just like general purpose attackers, even if the stats are a little bit lower than what we're used to today. Another one is Wish Granting Demon. This is from Blade of Vengeance Abara. Wish Granting, we'll just say Wish, here we go. Wish Granting Demon. This is 170 attack and magic, and it gives to everybody 50% LB damage, 300 attack and magic, and then again, chain limit increase. So this is kind of like the Not Until the End Always card on steroids, just because it has better stats, right? Very, very good for lots and lots of units. We're going to start talking a little bit about some other cards here. Ever Rising Flames. This is one, you get this from Eternal Radiance Elena at EX3. This is again attack and magic 170, but also gives you 100% true double hand attack, 100% true double hand magic, and 100% true dual wield attack and magic. So very good for lots and lots of kinds of units. Also has 50% chain limit increase, which is kind of an odd number, but it does have 50%. Keep that in mind. Depending on what you're running, you might have to boost up your gear a little bit more. And then 300 attack and magic. So it's very, very flexible, fits on lots of different types of units, could be potentially really good on your Noctis, depending on what you have. There's another one called Fusion of Heroes that I do not have. This is from Dawn of, or Deity of War Tyvis. I can't really look at it on the screen, but it is very, very solid. It's again, very much so like the Not Until the End Always card. Just has really good bonus stats and attack and magic, and it's just very, very good in general. Doesn't have any requirements on it. Same thing with Attack of the Thunder God from Sword Saint Orlandu. Just very, very good. Fits on like all types of category units. Even if it's not the best at what it does, it is very flexible and fits on a lot of different types of units. So these are some good options depending on what you have. Maybe you've picked up some of these cards. Oh, Confronting a Legend is another one from Solitary Warrior, Veritas of the Frost. That's another Clash of Wills card. I don't know why I put it in this general category because it is a Clash of Wills category card, but it is very, very good. It's kind of like Rick's card, just a little bit better. Honestly, we're gonna fix that. Appreciate you guys bearing with me as I fix all these goofy editing and punctuation and things like that. Yeah, here we go. So, but maybe there are some other options as well. Premium cards, these are like ones that you maybe would buy from a step up banner, often have powerful effects that may be useful for Noctis and other units, but often also have the abilities that are locked to FFBE. However, there are some that are completely free to anybody, and anybody can use them and get a lot of benefits out of them. So there are some ones like Champion of the Light Crystal. I don't happen to have that one, but it's very, very good for lots of units. Training Grounds is very, very good for lots of units. That's the one that has Chizuru on it. Champion of the Light Crystal has Richt on it. Flash of Steel. I also do not have that has, oh no, Training Grounds has Kaito. Flash of Steel is Chizuru. There's one called And None Knew Him. That is very good for many kinds of categories. Warrior of the Azure Crystal. Don't happen to have this one either. Yet again, you know, these are ones that you would have probably paid for, or maybe even, you know, picked up on a step up banner for when you were pulling off of a random banner or something like that. So these are, a lot of players maybe don't have these, especially because you did mention being free to play. These are ones that you probably don't happen to have available. But it's worth noting that these are some really good ones that do benefit you know, all types of characters regardless of what category they have. They usually don't have really good base stats on the card, but still give like decent bonus stats or killers or things like that. There's also lots and lots of other cards that do have really good effects, but might be limited to FFBE characters. For example, Star Rending Claws. Here we go. This is just an example, right? So it's 135 attack, 1500 HP, gives 100% attack, 500 attack. That's good on everybody. Gives you Beast, Dragon, and Stone Killer 100%. That's good for everybody. But then this one here, the unit requirement, is an FFBE unit for an ability called Star Piercer, which is triple absolute mirror of equity. It's a really strong ability, but only units that are in FFBE can equip it, or can use it. Everybody can equip the card, but this is locked to, you know, specific characters. So some cards are still really valuable to put on him. Like you could definitely still put this on your Noctis. He just wouldn't be able to get the full effect of using that absolute mirror of equity ability. But the good news is he does have abilities that are going to be better than that, honestly. This is just good for like, you know, sticking on a random FFBE support unit if you want them to help chain or even contribute a fair amount of damage depending on what their stats are. You know, this one, or there's another one called, what is it called? Here, let's just close out of this. Here we go. Sorry, it's taking a long time to load all this stuff. If we just scroll down, we can find it. It's like, you know, this card that has Reagan on it, Hero of Grandshield, really, really good. Even has this ability that anyone can use that gives Fire Amp to themselves. You know, pretty solid. But again, it does have killers that are locked to FFBE. You know, things like that. Or this Blood Moon card, Hemomancer, hot-blooded hypertension, very good for everybody. But the Dark Imbue is only for FFBE units. So there's lots and lots of cards like that kind of work in that way. This is the main one I was thinking of, Lone Swordsman. Again, would be fairly decent on your Noctis, 500 HP, 120 attack, also gives 100% and 500 attack. Has killers that Noctis would certainly benefit from, LB damage, but he can't get the Extreme Nova chaining move because it's FFBE only. So, you know, you may have some of these cards laying around that are fairly decent, but, you know, might be unavailable depending on what you've been pulling on, okay? But that doesn't mean that is the only option as far as cards go, because you did mention being free to play, so it's worth talking about some other things too. I'd like to suggest that right now you could go to get a free card that has low-ish stats, right? But it has abilities that can be used by any character, and that is the Dark Lineage card. I'm going to show you what it looks like on screen. Not crafting, come on. So many things to click on. Dark Lineage, right? Looks like this. Has you know, some neat pictures of some characters on it, and then there's the full thing. And here's the stats, kind of, so you can kind of see it a little bit easier. It's 100 to all stats, so it's good for all kinds of characters. It is 50% to attack, defense, magic, and spirit. You can kind of see that right there. It has 50% LB damage right there. And then it has 300 attack and magic that just gonna get bonus stats to your characters. And notice that none of these have any kind of requirements on them, so any character can equip this. So let's talk about where you can go get this card, because I think that, you know, if you don't happen to have this one, it's a good one to add to your repertoire and your collection, because it could be useful for random stuff. I use this on like budget clears all the time. Okay, so if Sharky was here, he would suggest that you go to complete the Dark Lineage event in the Vortex. You can get there by going to Vortex, Special, and then Dark Lineage. So we'll go home. We'll click on Vortex right here. we'll go to special, and then Dark Lineage is right there at the top. Now, I have already completed this. You do get this card as a reward for completing Chapter 4. A Prayer for Rest is the last event of the story, the last level of the story, and that's where you get this card. But even if you weren't playing the game when Dark Lineage came out, you can definitely do the Dark Lineage event, and I'm going to show you what I mean right now. Okay, so what you're looking at is my kind of like backup account that I kind of mess around with. I started this account a couple months ago, just to kind of prove a point about the strength of the Hyo and Veritas banner. And here is, if you go to the Vortex, right? And we go to Special, Dark Lineage is here. It says new, I have never done it. And because I started this event back in November, and Dark Lineage was from back in last April, obviously, you know, this account did not exist at that time. But I can go into all of these chapters, including just Chapter 4, and I can start Chapter 4 right here and get that vision card very, very easily. I don't have to do them all in order. You know, whatever. I'm not going to show you the story, though. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and close that because y'all don't want to see the story. But there you go. There's some story events in there, and there's some stages that are very, very easy to beat with even like a simple basic party. A single Neovisions unit is just gonna like auto attack and kill everything in there. But you could have some fun with it and take some characters to it, and you can go and get those characters and or get that free lapis, get that vision card, and have some fun with it, and then be able to have a pretty basic, well-rounded vision card that can go on like all kinds of units, including your True King Noctis, because it does give bonus attack and has 100 attack on the card, and some LB damage. Pretty decent for a free card. So if you haven't got that, definitely go ahead and do that, and that will help you kind of like with starting out. And that's pretty much it. So like you now have like a list of options for vision cards that you could put on your Noctis if you really wanted to, as well as a free card that you could go and do. Take a look at your inventory, pay attention to, and the general tips are going to work here for like all types of units too, right? Not just light category, not just attackers or things like that. Take a look at the categories of cards that you have in your units. Maybe check out the wiki and look for like vision cards that kind of match up with those categories, and that's going to help you. But these are the ones that are going to potentially go on your Noctis, depending on what you maybe have available. And like I said, if you've got a question for a future video, I don't want to say next week because like who knows how long it'll be before I do the next one of these. If you got a question for a future video, let me know in the comments, let me know on Facebook, let me know in the Facebook global chat. Or like, if you are one of those people who like hangs out in my Discord or hangs out in the various other FFBE Discords, feel free to message me there if you've got a question as well. I'm always on the lookout for a good question and answer type of thing where we can do some visual work and show some things on screen that might be able to help you better understand what you're doing. In the meantime, be good to each other, take care, and we'll see you in the next one. And thank you again for the question.